Okay, so there's something else I didn't mention. We do keep a towel and a bottle of water. So what we're going to use the towel and the water for is we're actually going to kind of rinse or wipe off the child's face. I prefer to use cold water so that we can kind of ensure that the pores don't open up on us. And so just get like a regular bottle of water, not looking for any soap or anything. Hopefully they wash their face in the morning. And then we'll just come in, just kind of wipe the child's face kind of all over. Sorry, I know it's a little cool. See, there's a little bit of her dinner right there. I think that's ketchup. So we'll wipe that off. And then just kind of all the way around her face. And then, we'll kind of dry it off as well. All right, so one of the first things I like to do, if you're going to use mascara, I actually like to do that first before I do anything else. I typically don't use mascara, but I'll go ahead and do it today just for demonstration purposes. I like to do the mascara. We only do the mascara on the bottom lash because we're going to have fake lashes for the top. So we'll come in and we'll go ahead and do the mascara. I know, open. Open your eyes, keep them open. Don't need to hold them.
What?
Don't need to hold it.
No.
All right, come on. This gives it just a little bit more volume. Okay. Got a lot of shadows here I'm trying to work through. We'll make sure it doesn't clump, but just give it a little bit more volume. Okay, great. So the reason you want to do this one kind of first is because if you get any on the kind of the lower underneath the eye or anything, you can use the towel to wipe it away, or you're going to cover up with concealer anyway. All right, so next we'll go to our concealer. So as I said, this one's going to be color matched to your dancer. For me, one thing about kind of the stage makeup, you want to ensure that you have a pretty heavy hand on it. If you do it too light, it's not like going out makeup, right? You don't want it to be very subtle. It actually needs to be a little bit exaggerated. So I'm going to come in for the concealer. And we're going to go right underneath her eye. We're going to move away from the eye. So we'll start toward the nose and then move outward. And we're going to spread this out. So if you smear a little bit on the bridge of the nose or something, that's okay. All right. So now we'll bring in our first sponge. I always like to make sure, because I do have a couple of different dancers and they have kind of different skin tones. I just make sure to kind of give it a little, make sure that nothing's rubbing off if it's one of a sponge I've used before. Also have different size sponges so that I can look at ones that I use for foundation or for concealer, just to make sure that I don't necessarily reuse the same one. Because like I said, I do have different dancers and their skin tones are just a little bit different. So now you're going to take your sponge, you're going to have your dancer go ahead and close her eye, and then you'll go ahead and just wipe around just kind of the entire eye socket. Now make sure you don't mess up the mascara that you just did. So just kind of be mindful of that. But this is just a little concealer. It gets rid of kind of the bags underneath the eyes, and just like that. Okay. Now, with the foundation, there's a couple different ways you can put the foundation on. So for me, I actually just go ahead and just take the whole stick out and then just kind of rub it all over her face. You really should use kind of a little applicator, or you should use a sponge and kind of an applicator. I can get a lot more foundation this way. And so this is why I just prefer to just just take the stick and just, just kind of put it all over her face. You want to make sure you get really close to the hairline. I always do hair second because if I get any of the foundation in her hair, I can usually take care of that on the back end. And just, you really want to be pretty liberal with this. Put your head up, please. Head up some more. And you want to make sure you get really close to the ears. You want to make sure you get underneath the chin. Because when you look at shading for this, you do want it to be just a little bit lighter than the child. And so you want to make sure that you kind of get all of the kind of seam surfaces so that you don't have any kind of like weird cut off areas. Okay, and I think that should be enough. So I'll do like one more. I'm running a little low, so you have to be, you have to be mindful if it's kind of a full bottle and you use the method that I just used. You can't, you might spill a little bit. So I always try to do makeup also before the child gets dressed in their first costume. That way you just kind of avoid any kind of oopsies. And so once you get the foundation kind of all over the face, then you'll come in and you want to be pretty firm with your sponge and get really close to the hairline. Really close to the ears. Underneath the lip. Like I said, make sure you get good and underneath the chin. Okay, look at me. That funny, Chels? Okay, now let me look. Okay, and you want to just make sure, it's good and even. If the student is doing their own makeup, just make sure that they have it, good and even. This is probably the place where I see the most students who do their own makeup kind of make some mistakes. Maybe they don't, get the foundation spread out quite well enough. So this is kind of the one area where sometimes people do need some help, but just make sure you have it nice and good and even kind of all the way across. So next I'll come in with my blush. And for the blush, I always use a little bit of a smaller brush for the blush. And have them smile. So go ahead and smile. You really want to kind of go ahead and smile. You really want to get an idea of kind of where the cheeks are going to puff up. And that's where you really want to try to apply the blush. So for me, I always take the blush. I get it, good on the, I get it pretty good on the brush. And then I give it a little shake, a little bit of a blow. Have the dancer smile so you can really get an understanding of where you want to apply the blush, and then go ahead and apply the blush. Kind of right in that area, right on the cheeks. You don't want to go too extreme. So I know I talked about being heavy-handed. You want it to be very, very clear that they have blush on, but if you get too much, and get it too deep of a shade of red, you can actually end up with a child that looks like they have bruised cheeks. So you want to kind of avoid that. Okay, smile. And with the blush, when I think I have enough, I usually go ahead and do one more pass because as I said, I'm gonna come back with the pressed powder and that's gonna dull it out just a little bit, right? So smile. Okay, then we'll do the other side. Smile. Not like that. Come on. Okay. Smile. And look at me straight on for just a second. Okay. Just want to make sure it's good and even, right on both sides if possible. Okay, look at me. All right. All right. So now we're going to come with our pressed powder, and for the kind of the application of it, I just use the little pad that comes with it. Just rub it on, shake it a smidge, have them look up. I know this looks crazy, but once you come back with the brush, it's gonna like really look a lot better. All right, look at me. All right, you look powdery. All right, and this is where I then come back with the bigger brush, and that's what I'm gonna wipe the I'll wipe the pressed powder off with. So look up for me, honey. Okay. All right, look at me. All right, that looks fun. Okay. All right. Okay, so next we move on to the eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow usually comes with a brush. I always buy, I'm sorry, it comes with a little kind of Q-tip looking tool. I always buy additional ones and I keep several in our makeup bag because I've had situations where as I'm trying to apply it, it's actually kind of like broken on me. And you always want to be, make sure that you have one because this is probably one of the more delicate applications. I'm still going to come back with a brush after this is done, the same one I used on the pressed powder, but want to make sure that you have plenty of these on hand. Okay, so when I'm doing the eyeshadow, I always have her look up really, really high because, the way eyeshadow works, right, it can flake off a little bit. And what I don't want to happen is while I'm doing the eye to have any like drop down on her cheek or anything like that. Now, because this is my child, I'll go ahead and like blow it off if that happens. But other than that, really the best way to kind of avoid it is to have them look up really, really high. Not that high, baby, like right there, just to make sure that as you're kind of sweeping in this area, that you don't have anything that drops off. If it drops off, it'll kind of drop off to the side and then you can kind of just, flick it off like that if you need to. So, have a pretty good amount on my brush. I'm sorry, my Q-tip. And then go ahead and look up for me. And with this, you really want to get, really kind of almost all the way to the eyebrow. You want to really get in the eye socket. And just as you do with the concealer, kind of brush away from the eye. Remember, just kind of a light. Yeah, just want to close it kind of lightly. Okay. All right, I'll do a little bit more. Okay, open for me. Look at me. All right. All right. Look up. Get just a little bit deeper. Because as I mentioned, we're going to come back with the brush and kind of give it a little bit more of a fading effect, right? So I know it looks really stark right now, but we're gonna smooth it out a little bit in just a minute. Okay. Okay. Now head back. Head back. We want this to be a little bit darker, so like I said, we can kind of shadow it a little bit. Good. Okay, gotta get a little bit higher. Back. All right. Okay, and then I'll come back with my brush. I just kind of dust it on my arm to make sure there's nothing residual coming off of it. And then go ahead and lean back a little bit, babe. Okay, thank you. And close. Like I said, we want to kind of make this less harsh. I know that feels weird. Okay, you see how that's smoothed out just a little bit. You still want it to be very clear that this is the, this is kind of the eye cavity. That sounds a little weird when I say it, but you do just want to kind of smooth it so it's not just as stark, right? Okay. All right, and so the reason that stage makeup is so so heavy-handed is because the judges are kind of a little bit further back. The audience is clearly even further back than the judges, right? This makes it capable for you to be able to kind of make out dancers' faces. So that's why it is as kind of heavy as it is, right? It's not as subtle. It's just kind of makeup you would wear on a routine basis. All right, so have a look at me. Okay, great. Okay. All right, so now it's everybody's favorite part. We're gonna come in with the eyeliner.
It's nobody's favorite part.
Oh, okay. I was being facetious.
What does that mean?
I was being funny. All right. All right, now put your head down. We got to make sure everybody can see it on the camera. So there are people who go inside the eye. I think that would freak out dancers and whatnot. So we do go under the eye and then bring it just a little bit to the outside of the kind of the eye crease. So I usually go ahead and just kind of make sure that I grab a little bit, not too tight, but right, just a little gently on the upper eyelid, because this is a place where they do blink a lot when you're trying to do this application. And I try to be as quick as possible because the longer you have to mess with it, the more blinking you're gonna get. So, all right, so go ahead and tilt back just a little bit. Okay, great. Gonna grab there. Keep your eye open.
Try.
I know. And like I said, this is navy blue, so not black. You want to go with navy blue. It's really going to frame the eye quite well. Let me go back one more time. All right, great. And like I said, you want to go out just a little bit past the crease of the eye, okay? Now we'll do the other side. Okay, head up. Okay. You gotta be careful, baby. Okay, look at me. Okay, all right, great. Okay, and so then really the last step is you want to come in with the lashes. Interestingly, during competition season, we are constantly buying lashes. So, just kind of any lash. There's nothing specific you need to purchase. Putting on the fake lashes, I go ahead and just get them both out. And then come in with the lash glue. So this is a Quick Set Duo. I know we got this from, I'm pretty sure we got this from Walgreens, but this is a Quick Set Duo lash glue. And then, open this.
It got glued.
It got glued, yeah. And you just want to put this on the spot where it's going to make contact with the eye, or eyelash, sorry.
They're both on your eyes.
Almost. You want to be pretty liberal with this because you don't want it coming off after you already put it on. So I think you can see that kind of that white strip of glue there. So I usually go ahead and do a couple applications of it. Nice and liberal application there.
Nice and glued.
Okay. All right, so now you'll go ahead and close your eyes. Now with this one, they usually can get a little irritation on that inner crease. So I always kind of start back just a little bit, just to ensure that if for some reason I do need to cut them or anything like that, I'm always cutting from the end that's kind of away from the eye, right on this kind of this outside corner. So go ahead and look up and close for me. Go and close. Okay. And then once you get it in place, make sure you hold it for a second before you let them open that eye back up. Okay.
Ow.
Ow. Okay. All right. Not yet.
You take it off.
All right, go ahead and open. Go ahead and open. Okay. Yeah, you're open.
There we go.
There you go. Okay. All right, does it feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. You
feels
usually
cold.
say no, so I appreciate you saying yes.
That's because you're in a video.
All right. I'm sure it's weird. I've never actually worn one, but I mean, when am I going to wear one, honey?
When you go to a business trip.
When I go on a business trip? Mm-hmm. Okay, Daddy usually doesn't wear eyelashes anywhere.
You should wear fake lashes so you can feel the coldness on your eye.
Well, I certainly won't do that on a business trip. I would do that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let me see again. Okay, all right. Okay. And then we'll come in with this one. So look up, close your eyes, and there and there.
Ow.
We're almost done. All right, look up.
That one turned out more not sticky than the other one.
Let me see. Hold on, it's not down all the way. So close. Okay.
Not gonna open.
All right, open. All right, good. All right, okay. And so that's makeup. And so with hair, we're gonna usually do like a high bun, right? So if we need to do a second tutorial for hair, we'll do that. But this is how you do the makeup. All right, thank you, Chelsea.
You're welcome, Daddy.
All right.